Hola mi amigos! Let's talk about common sense a little and how we can apply it to us as riders to have more pleasant and fun riding experience. Before we begin, make sure you put a like to this video, subscribe to this channel and click the bell. And if you want to tip this channel, feel free to click the join button here on YouTube or go to our Patreon page. Let's go! There is quite a common thing for us riders to overestimate our abilities a little bit. Many of you probably heard about Dunning-Kruger Effect. This effect essentially tells us that people who obtain some very basic skills at some tasks, like riding a motorcycle for example, these people tend to overestimate their abilities. And it's very true for bikers. You can literally see it with almost every new rider. At first, he's pretty timid, he goes really slow everywhere, fears nearly everything, and in our long trip across the city is a great adventure for him. But before you know, 2-3 months later, he zips through traffic, lane splitting, tries to go at top speed everywhere, and he complains about how he outgrown his bike. Pretty familiar scene, isn't it? That's precisely what Dunning-Kruger Effect is all about. Our new rider successfully rides his bike for a couple of months, and now he thinks he's a pro. Problem is, a lot of people just remain in this state for a very long time. Just riding around the city can only teach you so much. After all, roads are pretty straight. It's not a track. Most of the time, you don't have to corner or brake very much, so these skills remain at pretty low level. And as for the situational awareness, sometimes people pick it up by themselves, but more often than not, they don't. So yeah, a biker can easily ride around town for a few years, but he will be only marginally better than brand new rider. For really to start improving your riding, you just have to educate yourself. Take lessons, do practice sessions, read books, watch videos, talk to the right people, stuff like that. There is no way around it. Only after that, there is a chance for you to assess your skills more or less correctly. Now, what the common sense does have to do with all this? That's simple. Common sense can save us from falling for this Dunning-Kruger illusion and being too cocky when we really shouldn't. Let's return to our new rider who just had his 3 months of riding experience. If he just stops for a minute and think about what actual experience he has, let's say 3 months of experience, 5,000 miles, no additional training whatsoever, etc. It'll just become crystal clear that he shouldn't really think he is some kind of street Rossi. Actually, what I usually suggest to my students to do is to think of them in third person sometimes, because when we think about ourselves, we tend to sometimes completely neglect some very important facts. For example, if we see some guy who rides in a t-shirt, shorts and flip-flops, we'll probably think he's an idiot. However, at some point we can say something like this: "Hey, I'm just gonna ride to my friend's house, it's only 10 minutes away. It's hot today, I don't want to wear gear, it'll be fine." When we think about us doing such stuff, we usually don't consider ourselves idiots. We can find a million of various excuses for it. So yeah, sometimes it's useful to check some of our ideas from third-person perspective. Like when you are going to start your bike and go for a ride, you can think for a moment, hey, this guy didn't even check his tire pressure and condition. Actually, he never checked them once in the whole month. Sure, if his tire explodes in the middle of the ride, it would be his own fault. And before you know it, you are reaching for your tire gauge. The same you can apply to a whole bunch of other situations. On my Russian channel I frequently get questions like, is it really necessary to always wear boots or knee guards? Or, I bought 15-year-old bike from Japan, but the tire seems okay. Should I change them or I'm good to go? Well, in most cases you can easily tell the answer yourself if you talk about yourself at third person, like, hey, some guy bought 15-year-old bike, he doesn't know how and when it was serviced, it has 15-year-old rubber, and God knows what forms of life has developed in its brake lines. And he just intends to ride it like it's brand new. What can possibly go wrong? Clearly, sounds like it's not the brightest idea ever, is it? So for new riders, I really suggest to sometimes think about themselves in third person and just apply some simple common sense. And I can guarantee, this way you don't have to be some kind of expert to answer yourself at some questions. Well, I hope this all makes sense. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.